Hello, this is the third video for lecture 4.4. Okay, so we'll be discussing the second fundamental theorem of calculus. Okay, state na natin yung second fundamental theorem of calculus. So let f be a function which is continuous on the closed interval ab. If f is any antiderivative of small f on the closed interval ab, then the integral from a to b of f of x dx equals capital F of x evaluated from x equals a to x equals b, or capital F of b minus f of a. Okay? Take note ha, this theorem makes the connection between the antiderivative and the definite integral. Okay, so we have a way of computing the value of the definite integral from the antiderivative. Yan, sige. So, the succeeding slides are all examples. Okay, medyo marami tayong examples na gagawin. So, ano yung ulit yung sinasabi ng theorem na to? Kunin muna natin yung antiderivative ng f of x, then evaluate it from x equals a to x equals b. Okay, sige, let's solve a simple example first. Okay, so we want to evaluate the integral from -2 to 6 of 2x dx. Okay lang, dito ko na simulan. Yan. Sige, so first we get the antiderivative of 2x. The antiderivative of 2x is x squared plus c. Okay? And then we evaluate it from x equals -2 to x equals +6. Meaning, palitan muna natin yung x ng 6. So, we have 6 squared plus c minus, yon, the value of the antiderivative evaluated at -2. So, papalitan natin yung x ng -2. -2 squared plus c. So, we'll have 6 squared is 36 plus c minus, so, lagyan na natin ng parenthesis, -2 squared is 4 plus c. Take note, magka-cancel yung c. Okay, c minus c is 0 and 36 minus 4 is 32. Okay, tingnan nyo, lagi bang magka-cancel yung c? Sa tingin nyo? Oo, lagi siyang magka-cancel. Kaya, okay lang na hindi na natin isulat yung c dito. Dito sa pagkuha ng antiderivative. Okay? If you compare this with what you discussed last meeting, siguro dun sa lecture 4.3, di ba, kinuha nyo yung value ng definite integral na to using geometry. Your formula in geometry. Kasi line lang naman siya, so you form triangles. Okay? Nakita natin, yung area nitong part na to, itong upper triangle, ay 1/2 base, so 6 times height, which is 12. And then, itong nandito sa lower part is negative. So, -1/2, 2 times 4. And you obtained the value 32. So, ganun din. Ganun din yung nakuha natin when we apply the second fundamental theorem of calculus. Okay? Sige, so let's solve the next example. We want to get the integral from 0 to 2 of x squared dx. So first, kunin muna natin yung antiderivative ng x squared. The antiderivative of x squared is x cubed over 3. Yan. So, pag definite integral lang ha, pwede nang hindi isama yung c because eventually magka-cancel lang naman yon. So, evaluate na lang natin to from x equals 0 to x equals 2. Okay? Sige, so medyo matrabaho lang yung computations, pero madali lang to. Okay, you can factor out 1/3 and then you'll have 2 cubed. Okay, so replace x by 2 minus 0 cubed or evaluate the antiderivative at 0. Okay? Yan, so 2 cubed is 8 minus 0, 8 pa rin. You have 8 over 3. Okay? Yan. So, dapat alam kumuha ng antiderivative ha. Next, we want to get the antiderivative of secant squared v dv. Ano yung antiderivative ng secant square? Naalala? Antiderivative ng secant square ay tangent. Okay? So, this is equal to tangent v, where v runs from 0 to pi over 3. Okay? So, substitute natin. Una muna yung pi over 3. So, tangent of pi over 3 minus tangent of 0. Okay? Ano yung tangent ng pi over 3? Yan ha, kailangan alam nyo pa rin yan. The tangent of pi over 3 is square root of 3. Minus tangent 0 is 0. Okay, so this is equal to square root of 3. Okay? Next, we want to get the integral from negative 1 to 3 of dx over x plus 2 cubed. O, sige. Una, ano muna yung antiderivative ng dx over x plus 2 cubed? Naalala, anong kailangan natin gawin dito? We have to substitute. Okay? Ano yung pipiliin nyo na u? Okay, so we let u be equal to x plus 2. Okay, if u is x plus 2, du is dx. Yan, sige. Kunin muna natin yung antiderivative ng dx all over x plus 2 cubed. Okay, replace this with u. Okay, so yung x plus 2 ay u. Tapos, yung x plus 2 cubed sa denominator ay u raised to negative 3. Then, dx is equal to du. Okay? Then, ano na yung antiderivative ng u to the negative 3? Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. So, you have u to the negative 2 over negative 2, actually merong plus c. Okay? Pero, yun nga, pwede na nating ignore yung c kasi magka-cancel lang siya eventually. Now, let's substitute back. Yan. So, isulat na natin to as negative 1/2. Yung u, palitan na natin ulit ng x plus 2 square. Okay? So, yung u to the negative 2, nilagay lang sa denominator. And then, sinubstitute back na yung value ng u, which is x plus 2. Okay? Then, we evaluate from negative 1, x equals negative 1 to x equals 3. Okay? We can factor out negative 1/2. So, first, 3 muna yung isa-substitute natin. Okay, so you have 1 over 3 plus 2 square. That's 25. Minus negative 1. Negative 1 naman na. Negative 1 plus 2 is 1. 1 square is 1. So, you have 1. Okay. Sige, simplify muna natin itong nasa loob. The LCD is 25. We have 1 minus 25 over 25. So, this is negative 1/2 times negative 24 over positive 25. Okay, so magka-cancel out to. Negative, negative, you get positive 12 over 25. Okay? Yan, ingat lang, wag careless sa mga computations. Take note, anong ginawa natin dito? Nag-integrate tayo by substitution. We can solve, tapos dito, di ba, binalik natin yung x dun sa u. Actually, pwede nang hindi ibalik yung x. Ayan, sige, ano yung isang solution? Pwedeng yung limits of integration ay palitan na rin natin agad or express na rin natin in terms of u. Okay? Sige. Tignan natin. Ano yung sabi natin kanina? We can let u be equal to x plus 2. Okay, so du is dx. For the limits of integration, ano yung mangyayari? If x is 3, hindi equal sign to ha, arrow. Ingat sa paggamit ng equal sign. Okay, so x equals 3 implies that u is, so ang Take note ha, ang u natin ay x plus 2. So, if x is 3, u is 5. If x is negative 1, u is, so negative 1 plus 2 is 1. Okay, so we can now write this in terms of u. Sige, pwedeng isulat nyo para hindi kayo malito na pinalitan nyo na rin yung limits of integration. Pwede isulat nyo u from 1 to u equals 5. Okay, and then you have u to the negative 3 du. Okay, so we get the antiderivative. Again, negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2 over negative 2. Yun na, diretso na. Evaluate from 1 to 5. Okay, so you have, yan, factor out ulit natin, negative 1 half. Tapos, diba ito, 1 over u square, evaluated from 1 to 5. So, negative 1 half, 1 over, so 5 muna, 1 over 25 minus 1. Ganun din makukuha natin, negative 1 half times 1 over 25 minus LCD na, 25 over 25. Okay, tapos we get negative 1 half times negative 24 over 25. Cancel to, you get positive 12 over 25. Pareho dun sa nakuha nating value dun sa isang method. Okay, or dun sa isang solution. Okay, so you can do this. Wag lang malilito na pag kinonvert nyo na or nagpalit na kayo ng variable from x to u, ayan. Wag nyo na ulit ibalik yung x dito. Okay? Yan. So, we want to evaluate the integral from 2 to square root of 11 to x squared minus 3 raised to 1/3 dx. Okay? So, obviously, magsa-substitution tayo dito kasi hindi nyo pwedeng i-distribute yung exponent na 1/3. Okay? Sige. So, ano yung u natin? We let u be equal to yan, x squared minus 3. Okay? Kasi yun yung nasa loob ng pangit na exponent. Okay? So, if that is u, du is 2x dx. And, yun, okay na. Itong part na to, this will already be your du. Yan, sige. So, palitan na lang natin yung limits of integration. If x is square root of 11, sige nga, u is, take note, ito yung gagamitin natin. So, square root of 11 square is 11 minus 3. Ilan yun? 11 minus 3 is 8. Next, if x is 2, what is the corresponding value of u? 2 square is 4 minus 3, 1. Okay? Yan, sige. So, let's express the integral in terms of u. So, if x is 2, u is 1. If x is square root of 11, u is 8. Okay, then x squared minus 3 is u raised to 1/3. 2x dx is du. Yan, sige. So, ano yung antiderivative niyan? 1/3 plus 1 is 4/3. So, u raised to 4/3 all over 4/3 evaluated from 1 to 8. Okay, yung constant, pwede na nating i-factor out. So, you factor out 3/4. May iwan na lang sa loob. So, 8. Ano yung ibig sabihin ng exponent na 4/3? Cube root muna, then raised to 4. Minus 1. Anyway, 1 raised to 4/3 is 1. Cube root ng 8 ay, so copyin muna natin to. Cube root ng 8 ay 2. 2 raised to 4 is 16. 16 minus 1 is 15. So you have 3/4 times 15. That's 45 over 4. Okay? Okay, for our next example, we want to evaluate the integral from negative 2 to 1 of the absolute value of x dx. Recall that the absolute value function can be written as a piecewise function. Okay, it's equal to negative x if x is less than 0 and x if x is greater than or equal to 0. Yan. So, if you look at the limits of integration, nandito yung 0 sa loob ng interval na yan. Therefore, we have to parang cut this into two definite integrals. So, this can be written as the integral from negative 2 to 0 plus the integral from 0 to 1. Yan. So, kasi sa 0, nahati yung absolute value function. So, for values of x less than 0, ito, if x is less than 0, absolute value of x is equal to negative x. So, ito, from negative 2 to 0, ang gagamitin natin na piece ng function ay yung negative x. From 0 to 1, yung positive x dx. Okay? So, yun lang naman yung additional na gagawin pag meron kayong absolute value. Okay? Look at the piecewise definition and determine where you need to split the integral. Yan. Tapos ito, katulad na ng ginagawa natin kanina, integral ng negative x ay negative x squared over 2. This will be evaluated from negative 2 to 0. Integral of x is x squared over 2, evaluated from 0 to 1. Okay? Sige, you can factor out 1/2. Actually, dito sa first term, negative 1/2. Pwede nyo rin i-reverse yung limits of integration. Yan, sige. Pwede yon. Pero ito, kung hindi ko i-reverse, so 0 square minus, pinactor out ko na yung negative eh. Kaya, minus negative 2 square. Okay, plus 1/2. Okay, 1 square is 1, 0 square is 0. Okay, so dito na lang, ingat sa sign. Negative 1/2, negative 2 square is positive 4. Tapos may negative pa sa labas, so we multiply this by negative 4 plus 1/2. Okay, negative, negative, magiging positive. So you have 2 plus 1/2, or this is equal to 5 over 2. Okay? Next example, we want to get the integral from pi squared over 4 to pi square of sine square root of t over square root of t dt. Okay? Madali lang yan. Sige, dapat tama lang yung pag-substitute natin. Okay, and hopefully lalabas na yung ibang term sa integrand. Sige, ano yung pipiliin natin na u dito? Okay, we can choose u to be square root of t. Sige, try lang natin. Kung mali, di ulit. Hanap ulit tayo ng u. So, if u is square root of t, du is, remember, square root of t is t raised to 1/2. So, ang derivative nun, 1/2 t raised to negative 1/2. Or, nandito sa denominator yung square root of t. Okay? So, dun sa integrand, yan, meron tayong dt over square root of t. So, all we have to do is to multiply this by 2, okay? Para yung dt over square root of t is equal to 2 du. Okay? So, okay na, we were able to write the integrand in terms of u. Next, yung limits of integration, palitan na rin natin. Okay? So, for the limits of integration, if x equals pi square, remember, ang u natin ay square root of t. Yan. So, square root of pi square is pi. If x is pi square over 4, then u is the square root of pi square over 4, which is pi over square root of 4, which is 2. Okay, so pwede na natin isulat to. Limits of integration from u equals pi over 2 to u equals pi. Okay, yung sine square root of t ay sine u, and then yung dt over square root of t ay 2 du. Okay, again, yung constant na 2, pwede nating ilabas. Okay lang, diretsuhin ko na. Antiderivative or integral ng sine u du ay negative, sorry, kita ba? Negative cosine u. Okay? Evaluated from u equals pi over 2 to pi. Okay? Yan. Sige. So, you have negative 2 cosine pi minus cosine of pi over 2. Ang cosine ng pi ay negative 1. Cosine of pi over 2 is 0. Okay? Negative 2 times negative 1, you have positive 2. Okay? Next example. Yan, may ln naman. We want to get the integral from ln 2 to ln 5 of e to the x over 2 e to the x minus 1 dx. Yan, mukhang magsasubstitute ulit tayo. Anong pipiliin nyo na u? Kung e to the x, problema natin, may e to the x pa sa denominator. So, try natin na itong buong denominator, yun, para isang beses lang kayo mag-substitute. Pwedeng 2e to the x lang, pero parang dalawang beses kayo magsasubstitute pag yun lang pinili nyo. So, eto ng buo. Okay? So, let u be equal to 2e to the x minus 1. Okay? From there, du is derivative ng 2e to the x ay 2e to the x. Derivative of 1 is 0. Then, dx. Okay? Okay na. Ang nasa nandito ay e to the x dx. So, just divide both sides by 2. Okay? So, yung e to the x dx is equal to du over 2. Okay? Punta tayo dun sa limits of integration. Okay? If x is ln 5, u, take note ha, ito yung u. 2, sulat ko lang para clear. 2e to the ln 5 minus 1. Okay? Pero ano nga ulit? Itong e to the ln 5, yung e and the natural logarithmic function are inverse functions. So, yung e to the ln 5 is just equal to 5. Okay, so this is equal to 2 times 5 minus 1 or 9. Tama? Now, if x is ln 2, ganun din, u is equal to 2e to the ln 2 minus 1. Again, yung ln 2, e to the ln 2 ay equal lang sa 2. So, 2 times 2, hindi ko na isulat ha. 2 times 2, 4 minus 1, you have 3. Okay, so let's write this integral. If x is ln 2, u is 3. If x is ln 5, u is 9. Okay? Then, yung e to the x dx, sige, yun munang 2, e to the x minus 1. U, since nasa denominator, u to the negative 1. And then, yung e to the x dx ay du over 2. Okay? So, again, yung constant na 1/2, pwede nating ilabas. And then, what's the integral of u to the negative 1 du or du over u? Ln of the absolute value of u. So, this will be evaluated from u equals 3 to u equals 9. Okay? So, you have 1/2 quantity ln 9 minus ln 3. Okay? Pero may property tayo sa log. ln 9 minus ln 3 can be simplified as ln of 9 over 3. So, this is equal to 1/2 ln of 3. Okay? So, or pwede ring ln of square root of 3. Tama? 3 to the 1/2. Okay, sige. So, some remarks. Napagod ba kayo sa computation ng definite integral? Sa practice lang yon para makita nyo ano yung magandang choice for you, paano yung pagpapalit ng limits of integration. Okay, so some remarks before we end. So the second fundamental theorem of calculus assumes that f is continuous on the closed interval AB. For example, you want to get the integral from negative 1 to 2 of 1 over x squared dx. Nabanggit yata natin to kanina. Ano yung domain ng f? Domain ng 1 over x squared? All real numbers except 0. Pero dito sa interval na to, nandito yung 0. O, paano kung hindi nyo napansin na hindi pala continuous yung integrand nyo over this interval? Tapos, sinolve natin. Sige, so, sinolve nyo. Okay, solve natin. So, this is the integral from negative 1 to 2 of x to the negative 2 dx. Nangyayari dyan. Integral ng x to the negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. So, x to the negative 1 or 1 over x is over negative 1. So, negative 1 over x. Evaluated from negative 1 to 2. Okay? So, this will be negative 1/2 minus negative 1 over negative 1. Okay? Hindi ko pinactor out yung negative. Okay? So, this will be positive 1. Negative 1/2 minus positive 1 is negative 3/2. So, may nakuha tayong value. But actually, hindi yan equal. Okay? So, mali. Mali ito. Kasi nga, hindi continuous yung function natin from negative 1 to 2. Okay? Yan, sige. So, if you notice, ito pa, yung fundamental theorems of calculus establish a close connection between antiderivatives and definite integrals. Yan. So, actually, ang tawag nga daw dito sa antiderivative ay indefinite integral. And then, antidifferentiation is also referred to as integration. Okay, actually, nagamit na natin yung term na integration dun sa lecture 4.1. Pero yun, equal lang sila or pareho silang process. Okay? Sige, so it's time for you to practice. Try, kung naintindihan nyo nga yung lecture natin ngayon, please refer to page 227 of your module. Ito lang yung items na i-discuss sa discussion videos, but you can try to answer the other items for your own good. Okay? Sige, so thank you for listening.